Welcome back to Peanut. My name is Mr. Austin, and I teach Peanut at the National Kidney Foundation, just like Miss Catherine. So for the first 2 weeks, you've seen Miss Catherine. She taught you all about hand washing, the first lesson, getting your hands clean, which is very important. And the second lesson, last time you saw Miss Catherine, she taught you all about my plate and the 5 food groups. So for the next 2 lessons, it's going to be me, and I'm going to teach you about a couple different things. There's a little hint next to my head. You can kind of see what we're talking about today. But before we get to that, I want to ask you the healthy homework question that Miss Catherine asked you at the end of last week. And her question, or what you learned about last week, were the 5 food groups. So what are the 5 food groups that are on my plate? I'm going to say them in a minute, but I want you to think. Tell someone next to you that you're sitting next to, or say them out loud. What are the 5 food groups on my plate? They're all important. You need all 5 food groups to grow all different kinds of your body, to keep it healthy, to keep it strong. So what are the 5 food groups? One more second. The 5 food groups are grains, protein, dairy, fruits, and vegetables are the 5 food groups that are on my plate. And like I said, you need all 5. They all do different things for your body. Protein foods help keep your muscles strong. Fruits and vegetables have all kinds of vitamins that help stop you from getting sick and do all kinds of healthy things for your body. Grains give you energy so you can run around and play outside all summer. And dairy helps build strong bones. You especially, a lot of you are still growing. You got a lot of growing to do. You're going to get, those bones are going to get longer and stronger. You need dairy to keep your bones strong. So you need all 5 food groups. Every day you should be trying to eat the whole entire My Plate and finding the foods that you like from each food group so that you can get all that healthy stuff from all those foods. So today we are going to talk about the PE part of peanut. So there's 2 different parts. You've seen this next to Miss Catherine's head too. There's the PE and then the nut to make peanut, right? And last week you talked about the nut part of peanut, which stands for nutrition. This week, we're talking about the PE part of peanut, which stands for, say it out loud if you know, you've probably done this at school or heard that at school. It stands for physical education, which is a fancy way to say moving your body. Exercise, all that good stuff, moving around, all kinds of stuff that we like to do. So in your body, muscles all over, right? We've got muscles in our fingers. We've got muscles in our face so we can smile, so we can talk. We've got muscles in our toes and in our legs so that we can walk, so that we can run, so that we can jump. In your arms, there's muscles so you can lift things up, so you can write, so you can draw, so you can throw a football, or so you can swing a golf club or swing a baseball. All that stuff is physical activity. And you need to use your muscles, use your body to keep them strong. When I say strong, I don't mean you have to be able to lift 500 pounds or run 20 miles, but you need to use all the muscles in your body, because sometimes what we do is we come home, or during the summertime when it's hot, we sit down and we watch TV, or we play video games, or we play on our phones, which is okay for a little bit. But if that's all you're doing when you're home, or when you come home from summer camp and then you're just sitting down doing nothing all day, just staring at the TV, it's not good for your body. All those muscles all in your body aren't going to get strong or stay strong if you don't use them. So you need to find different things that you do, or different things that you like, I should say, throughout the day to keep those muscles strong. So physical activity, the how. So right here you can see some things. I'm going to make this picture a little bit bigger so you can see it. How can we get physical activity? So there are all kinds of ways, and it doesn't just have to be things like sports. So a lot of the times when you hear physical activity or physical education, you think sports. And sports are definitely physical activity, right? So playing soccer, you can see in the picture right there, playing baseball, being on a dance team, being on a swim team, doing gymnastics, all of that is good. All of that is physical activity, but there are all kinds of other things you can do too. And you can see a couple good examples right here. Walking a dog, if you have a dog, or just walking in general, is physical activity. You're moving your body, right? Another one, all of us live in Michigan, so that middle one is a good one, shoveling the snow. Right now it's summertime, so we're lucky. No snow that we have to deal with. But when you shovel the snow outside, or maybe when you rake the leaves in the fall time, jump in the pile, all of that is physical activity. You're moving your body. You're up, you're using your arms to shovel, you're using your arms to rake the leaves, you're jumping. All of that is physical activity. So it doesn't just have to be a sport. Chasing your little brother around, running around at summer camp outside, or swinging on the swings, or doing what you do. All of that is physical activity. And the important part is just that you are moving your body. You don't have to like just like you don't like every food, You don't have to like every physical activity. Maybe you really don't like playing soccer. Maybe you really don't like playing basketball. That's fine. There could be another sport that you love. Maybe you just like to walk. Maybe you really like to run. I like to run outside all the time. So that's something I do to keep my body moving. So you just have to find the ones that you like and then do those ones. There's all kinds of different stuff that you can do. So the next one is, why is physical activity so important? I kind of touched on a couple things, but I'm going to talk about 6 main reasons why it's so important to be physically active and why you need to do it. So I'm looking up here so I can see them all just so I don't miss one. So think in your head real quick before I say the 6 different things. What are some reasons you think it's important to be physically active, to move your body? I said a couple. I kind of gave away a few. And there's probably some that you already know in your head, but what are some reasons why it's so important? You can even look at the pictures too. It gives you some hints. So the first one, and this one's pretty obvious. You probably knew this one. Your muscles get bigger and stronger. So like I said before, you have muscles everywhere. You've got muscles in your arms. My arm muscles aren't too big, but you got muscles in your arms, muscles in your legs, muscles in your toes, muscles everywhere. And you need to keep them strong. You need to make sure that they're working, that you can use them, that you can lift stuff. If you play a sport, usually you want to be able to run around and be able to do it, right? Because if you can't do it, if you just run a little bit and then you're tired, you won't be able to play for a long time, or it'll be hard. It won't be as fun. So you want to be physically active so you can run around and move around. The other part of your body that it's important to move around is your heart. So your heart is a muscle too in your body. And right now, I don't know about you, maybe you were running around or doing something outside before you started watching me, but I've been sitting in my chair. So my heart right now, since I've been talking to you, it's beating pretty slow because I'm not doing anything too crazy. But what happens to our hearts when we start running, when we start playing a game, when we start swinging on the swing or riding a bike? It starts to go faster, right? Your heart is a muscle too, and it beats and it pumps all the blood throughout your body. And you need your heart to stay strong because it's important. That's what keeps us alive, right? So you have to keep your heart strong. And the best way to keep it strong is to use it, is to make it beat faster. Because the faster it beats, that's what makes it stronger. So that way, you can calm down easier. It's not beating super hard just from you walking or just from you running a little bit. So you have to keep your heart strong. So first reason that we exercise or that we're physically active is to make sure our muscles are big and strong. Second one, and I kind of gave this one away, is to move the blood in your body. So I just told you your heart, what does it do? It pumps the blood all up to your brain, down to your toes, all the way up and all the way down. So you want to keep that heart strong because it helps move the blood through your body. And when you're exercising and your heart is beating faster, it moves the blood even faster in your body, which is so good for you. It's so good to do that, to get your heart beating faster, to sweat a little bit, because then makes your heart strong, makes that blood move fast all through all the muscles in your body, which is so good for your body. It keeps it strong, keeps it healthy. So that's reason number 2. Third reason it's important to be physically active, one of my favorite ones, it helps you sleep. So when you're physically active, when you're running around outside at summer camp maybe, when you run around, you go outside all day, it's kind of hot, you're sweating a lot. When you come home, you're tired, you sleep a lot, and your body needs sleep. It's so important. All kinds of stuff happens when you sleep. And to make it easy, when you sleep, your body heals, it gets better. It's just good for your body. So the more you exercise and move around, the more tired you are. So the more you sleep, and the more you sleep, the better it is for your muscles, for your heart, for your brain, for all that stuff. So that's the third reason. The fourth reason it's so important to be physically active is that you can be a healthy weight. So it helps when you're running around, when you're moving around, it keeps you at a healthy weight because you burn all kinds of stuff when you're running around. All that sweat, all that stuff helps you maintain a healthy weight. So the fifth reason why it's important to be physically active is because you think and you learn better. So when you're running around, when you're moving around, all that blood that I told you goes through your body, a lot of it goes up to your brain. And when your brain gets a lot of blood in there, it helps you focus. That's why you have recess at school. When you have recess at school, right, middle of the day, hopefully you get a couple minutes to run around outside, play with your friends. It gets you time to burn off some energy. It helps move that blood in your body. So in the afternoon, it's easier to focus. It gives you that little break. That's why sometimes you might do brain breaks at school or at summer camp. They give you time to move around, move your body, play little games, dance around, all that stuff because it helps you think, helps you learn, just helps you focus better. And then the last reason we didn't talk about, my favorite one, the sixth reason why it's so important to move around and be physically active is because you feel good and it's fun. It should be fun. And I kind of said that at the beginning. You should pick stuff that you like to do. So when you're doing a game with your friends or when you're running or walking outside, it should be fun. It should be a good time. You should be doing something you enjoy, playing and running around and doing something that you like to do. So that is the sixth reason why it's important to be physically active. All right, let's look at the next one. And this says stuck inside. So sometimes we're stuck inside. Maybe the weather's bad. Maybe it's raining. We live in Michigan, so maybe it's snowing. Maybe right now it's summertime. Maybe it is way too hot. We have some days, I know, where it gets way too hot outside. You don't want to do anything. So what are some things that you can do inside to be physically active? I'm making this picture a little bit bigger just so you can see that sometimes we're just sitting around, right? Which is not a bad thing. I don't want to say that when it's raining or when it's too hot outside that it's not okay to sit down and take a break. You can see this little girl is drawing. Maybe you just do some things like this kid looks like he's playing in a box. Or you can see he's just sitting down and he's kind of relaxing, which is perfectly fine when the weather's outside. But there's still things you can do inside to be physically active. So I want you to think for a minute. Think about some different stuff that you can do inside. Think about what you can do. Maybe right now if you're at camp, there might be some things you can do at camp where you're at that you can't do at home. But think about some stuff you could do at home. Maybe think about some stuff you do at summer camp or at school when you're in school. What are some things you could do inside even though it's raining to kind of be physically active if it's raining or if it's too hot? Here's another picture. I'm going to make this one big so you can kind of see some of the ideas that I'm going to give you. Some of these that you can do is you can dance. So you can dance around. You can see that little girl is dancing. Dancing's fun. You turn on some music that you like. You can just dance around. You can walk around inside. Just at home, you can kind of walk around inside. Or maybe if you're at camp, if you're in a bigger building, you can walk a little bit farther. You can march in place. You can do things like yoga or stretching. You can see that in the other two pictures, they're stretching. They're doing yoga. That's good for your body too. Working out your muscles and making sure that if you were sitting around all day that you're stretching out all those muscles. You can jump around, so you can jump up and down. As long as you're not jumping too crazy, that should be something that's okay to do inside. You can do things like arm circles. So I do arm circles all the time when I'm sitting down. Just so my shoulders are kind of stiff and sore, I do some arm circles like this. I do them the other way. I do little ones, and then I do big ones. But there's all kinds of stuff you can do inside. So you can see a lot of this stuff is super calm, right? We don't want to do anything too crazy where we're knocking stuff down inside, especially if we're at home. Maybe if you're at summer camp, you might have thought of different stuff. Maybe you have a gym or a big room where you can kind of play games, and that stuff's good too. But when you're at home, there's still stuff to do, even if there's not too much room. And it doesn't have to be anything too crazy where you're pouring sweat or doing any of that. Just something simple, like standing up and stretching. Maybe when you're watching TV or you're playing on the computer, you can stand up and stretch for a couple minutes, or dance around to a song, or take a walk around the house, do a couple laps, maybe walk all the way downstairs and all the way upstairs if you have stairs in your house. But little things like that add up to get you some physical activity, to get you some exercise. So we are going to do some exercise together right now. We're going to do our Fitbit. Oops, I didn't mean to make that big. And our Fitbit for today is going to be Check My Beat. So this is a good one. I'm going to show you how it works right now. So for Check My Beat, we call it Check My Beat because it's all about your heart. So I told you your heart is a what? Your heart is a muscle too. Just like the muscles in your arm, just like the muscles in your mouth, just like the muscles in your toes. Your heart is a muscle and you have to keep it strong. So for this Fitbit, what we're going to do is, in a minute, we're going to stand up and I'm going to tell you to do some different moves. And at the end of, when I tell you to stop, so we're going to do it for a few seconds. And when I tell you to stop, you're going to check your beat. So you're going to check your heartbeat and we're going to kind of see what happens to our heartbeat after we do these different moves. So you can check your heartbeat in 3 different places. The most obvious one that you've probably done is when you put your hand on your heart so you can feel it just like this. So if you put your hand on your heart, it's probably going slow because you're sitting and watching me, so it might be hard to find, but right here, and you'll be able to feel it better once it starts beating a little bit faster, but your heartbeat you can find here. The other spots that you can check are on your wrist. This is the hardest one, but you can check right here on your wrist. because there's a blood vessel right here. So you can check right here. And then my favorite, the best spot to check it is right on your neck. So you can watch me. If you go right here underneath your chin and you press your fingers, not too hard, but if you push your fingers, you can feel the blood vessel moving right there. So it's hard to feel. You don't want to talk when you're doing it. If you're talking, you're going to feel your voice box and you're going to feel yourself talking. You won't be able to feel it. But if you sit quietly, you should be able to feel your heartbeat. And it'll be easier to feel once we start moving. So that's the 3 places you can check your beat. So in a minute, we're going to stand up. I'm going to tell you to do a move. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to tell you to freeze. We're going to check our beat, and I want you to kind of talk. You can talk with whoever's in the room. You can say it. Just tell somebody what your heartbeat feels like or what you feel. So before we start, I'm going to make this small so you can see just me. Before we start, you can stand up right now, but before we start, I want you to make sure that nobody's around you. Kind of check around. Do a little check. You've probably got more stuff around you than me. Maybe some people are close to you. Just make sure you're not going to bump anything. You're not going to kick anything. Don't want you to get hurt. So just do a check real quick. And we are going to do our couple moves right now. So the first one we're going to do is easy one. We are just going to walk in place. So I just want you to walk. I know you can't see my legs, but I think you all know how to walk. So I want you to just act like you're walking. Don't go fast. We'll go a little bit faster in a minute. I just want you to test it by walking in place. Stand up, walk. You can see this one's not too hard because I'm talking, so it shouldn't be anything crazy. So just kind of walk in place. Swing your arms a little bit, just like you're walking. A couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Check your beat. So you can check here, you can check here, or you can check your neck. So right now, what do you feel? Tell somebody first before I say what I feel. What do you feel? How's your heartbeat? It should still be going pretty slow, right? Because that wasn't too hard. Mine's moving a tiny bit faster. I can feel it a little bit better now, but not too fast. So that one wasn't too hard. So we got our heartbeat up a little, which is good, right? So if you go for a walk, your heartbeat will go up a little bit, which is definitely a good thing, but it didn't go too fast. It's nothing too hard. Next one, now what we're going to do is we're going to march in place. So I want you to march. So for this one, it's kind of like walking, but I want you to do it. I want you to make sure that you're doing your knee up high, and I want you to move your arms really hard too. So, well, not hard, but move them up high. So get that knee up high, arm up high, just like me. Here, I'll do it sideways too so you're going to see me. Boom, boom, boom. And you can do this one a little bit faster. Don't do it too fast, you're going to get tired, but just kind of do it like this. So start marching in place. You can do it with me. I'll keep doing it on the side so you can see. Just go like this. Make sure you're getting that knee up high. Swing those arms. March in place. All right, a couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Freeze. Check your beat. Check here. You can check your chest. Check your wrist. What do you feel? Before I tell you, what do you feel? Tell somebody around you. Mine is definitely going faster. So it's not fast, but I can feel it. I was a little out of breath right there, and then I can definitely feel it in my neck. So when I touch right here, and I'm quiet, you can feel it. So that got my heartbeat up a little bit more, right? Just from doing something, so not too much harder than marching, but see, this is all just standing in one spot, right? So you can do this at home, you can do this anywhere. All right, the third one, this one's gonna be a lot, not a lot harder, but it's gonna make your heart go a little, oh, I don't wanna give it away. Third one, jumping jacks. So make sure you're not gonna bump anything. My fan's on, so I'm not gonna have my hands go all the way up, but I want you to put your hands all the way out like a star, legs out, straight up. Like this, all the way out, straight up. All the way out, straight up. All right, we're gonna do this for about 20 seconds. We're gonna see how we feel after. So make sure no one's around you, so you're not gonna bump into anybody. 3, 2, 1, go. Start doing some jumping jacks. All the way up, straight. You can do these fast if you want. Don't go too fast. I don't want you to be too tired, but you can go a little bit faster if you want. Or even just doing normal speed like me. Keep going. going. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freeze. Check your beat. Feel your neck. Feel your chest. You can feel your wrist if you want. What do you feel? Tell somebody. Before I tell you what I feel, tell somebody how you feel. I can definitely feel it. I'm definitely a little bit out of breath. You can hear it in my voice when I'm talking to you. And then when you check, heart's going a little bit faster, which is a good thing. And once again, what am I doing? I'm standing in one spot. So it's so easy to get that heart rate moving. Doesn't have to be running around outside all the time or playing a sport, right? If it's raining outside or if it's snowing or if it's too hot, you can do little things like that to get your heart rate up. Let's do one more. Let's do one more hard one. We're going to run in place. So as fast as you can, I want you to move your feet and move your arms as fast as you can. We're not going to do this one for too long, just because I don't want anybody to get super tired or to do it for too long. But we're going to run in place, not around the room that you're in, but run in one spot. So move your arms and your feet as fast as you can, all right? So we're going to do this one for like 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Fast as you can. Move your arms and your feet fast as you can. Keep going. Keep going. This one's going to be quick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freeze. Check your beat. Check your chest. Check your wrist if you want. Tell somebody how you feel. I think you get the idea by now. You should be able to really feel it. You should really be able to feel your heart pumping, which means the blood is moving throughout your body. So now, before we finish, we're going to do one more thing to calm down, just so we can get our heart rate down. So right now, you're probably breathing a little bit deep. So what I want you to do is take a deep breath and stretch. So you can stretch your arms all the way up. I'm not going to put my arms up just so I don't get my hands in a fan, but I want you to reach up to the ceiling. I'm just going to reach up to here and breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Breathe in. Breathe out. And while I'm sitting down to come talk to you, you can check your beat one more time and you can sit down. Check your beat. See what you feel. So even now you can hear that I'm not breathing as hard, right? I can talk to you just like normal. I can feel when I check my beat, my heart's starting to slow down, which is good. So when you're done doing something where you're running around and doing something crazy, you want to calm down. This is especially a good one if you're at school, if you're going inside at summer camp and you need to calm down. Just take some deep breaths and calm your heart rate down. So that way you can talk, focus, and do what you need to do. So I hope you like that one. That's one of my favorite Fitbits. Let's go to the next one. So right now it's healthy snack time. Oops, I wanted that to go big. There we go. So our healthy food for the week is celery, and you can see a couple pictures right there. Celery is a crunchy green vegetable. So celery is a vegetable, and you can eat it raw, you can eat it microwaved, you can eat it steamed, or you can even bake celery. So celery is really good with something to dip it in. So if you've had celery before, plain celery is pretty good. I like celery plain, but you can put it with something. So you can see in the picture on the left, you can dip it in something like peanut butter. That's a very popular one. You can dip it in some hummus. Hummus and celery taste really good, and you can dip it in something like ranch. So you can find them in your school lunch. Usually at school, they have them raw and they cut them up into little sticks. So just like that picture on the left over there, you can see that they're cut up into little sticks. So you can try them at school, you can buy them at the store, and try them at home. If you buy them just like this picture, I'm going to move this, make it a little bit smaller. If you buy them like this, you can buy it at the store cut up, or you buy it like this. So that's what it looks like when you have to cut it up. You got to wash it off. That's what it looks like. This picture over here on the right is what it looks like when it's growing. So you'd have to take off the top, take off all the leaves, you'd have to wash it off, and then you cut it up into those little sticks. It's a super easy way to eat it for most people. Make sure you wash your hands before you have one of these snacks. So if you try some celery, wash your hands before you eat it. And after this lesson, we're going to have a recipe that goes along with this, so you can try that too. Okay. The last thing, we're almost done. So to wrap it up today, I want you to think, how does physical activity help us be healthy? So how does physical activity help us to be healthy? So what are some of the things that I talked about? What were some of the things that it does for us? It helps our muscles get stronger and get bigger. It helps us sleep, always a good one. It helps us sleep. It helps our heart and our blood move around our body because our heart is a muscle. We just did our Fitbit to kind of show how our heart beats faster when we're doing physical activity, which is good to get the blood moving and keep us healthy. Keep that heart pumping, keep it strong for our whole lives. Sleep also helps you focus and it helps you learn better. Or not sleep, physical activity helps you focus and helps you learn better. And physical activity should be fun. So some of the reasons that it helps us be healthy. And then my last question for you is, what are some of the ways we moved around that you like the most? Or maybe some of the ones that we talked about. So you can think about some different physical activity that you like. So we all like different things. Like I said at the beginning, just like we all like different foods, we all probably like different physical activities. So think about some of the things that you like. Maybe tell someone sitting next to you, or just think of them in your head. I like to run, so I like to run all the time. I like to play soccer. I like football. I like a lot of sports too, but I like to do stuff. I like to walk my dog. Walking my dog is fun. I like to mow the lawn. Mowing the lawn is fun to me, so I like to mow the lawn, and that's some good physical activity too. So think about some of the things that you like to do, and remember, it can be all kinds of different things. It doesn't just have to be one or two things that you think of right away. All kinds of stuff. As long as you're moving your body, getting that heart rate up a little bit, all of that is physical activity. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about before is healthy homework. So I want you to tell someone at home a reason that physical activity is good for us. And then I want you to try, before next week and you and I talk, try and do a couple minutes of inside physical activity. So I know it's summertime. You want to go outside, and please go outside and play too. But try some of those indoor stuff. Maybe just take a couple minutes before you sit down and watch TV, or take a couple minutes before dinner and maybe do some jumping jacks. Maybe just walk in place or walk around the house. Maybe if you have a pet, chase the dog around the house or chase the cat around the house for a couple minutes. Maybe if you have a little brother, a little sister, an older brother, an older sister, maybe play a game where you're moving around a little bit home. Have a little dance party in your room or in the living room or something. So do a couple minutes of inside physical activity, because I want you to see just how easy it is, no matter if you're inside or outside, how easy it is to get your physical activity. Okay, that is all I have for this week. I will see you next week. Next week is our last lesson. We're going to kind of go over everything that we learned. We're going to talk about a couple new things, and then you will officially be done with Peanut for the summer. So I will see you next week.